Don't call girls cute or sweet because it might stifle their creativity, woke researchers claim. I could actually see this if you look at it a certain way, though. If they learned that they could get anything they want in life just by, looking pretty and having men do everything for them, that legitimately might stifle them. If they were going to get a real job, but instead decided to become a sugar baby, you could look at that as stifling. So don't call girls cute or sweet because it might stifle their creativity. A new study, which is sponsored by Lego, suggests that using gendered language stops girls from freely expressing themselves. Yeah, you know what's a better alternative? Let them freely express themselves, let them stick their feet in their mouths, and then let them reap the consequences. It's not your problem anymore. So girls feel less inspired to be creative if they're praised with words like sweet and beautiful rather than cool and brave, according to the study. Maybe because in order to be cool and brave, it's kind of implied that you have to do things on your own. When you're sweet and beautiful, you have legions of white knights that are there, doing everything for you. The researchers also said that girls are more likely to try new things if their mistakes are not criticized, but rather praised more as learning opportunities. Oh yeah, you really screwed up making that bridge. That led to fatalities, but yeah, we all make mistakes. Don't look at it as a failure. Look at it as a deferred success. It's just a learning opportunity. Don't feel too bad. There can always be more people. The researchers surveyed 25,532 children between 5 and 12 years old, as well as 36,000 parents. The results revealed that society is around 7% more likely to use terms like sweet, pretty, beautiful, and cute for girls than boys. Obviously, I'm surprised it's that small of a margin, to be perfectly honest with you. In contrast, terms like brave, genius, innovative, cool are twice as likely to be used for boys. While this might seem relatively harmless, researchers claim this can have an impact on the willingness to express themselves and explore new things. Nearly 2/3 of girls between 5 and 12 years old said that the language they heard made them feel worried about making mistakes and less likely to experiment. Are you serious? So being called cute made them less likely to try anything because they're afraid of making mistakes. I guess it kind of makes sense. They don't want to ruin your image of them, so maybe deep down they know they depend on you, so they don't want to ruin your image of them because that might hurt them. All right. Depending on how weirdly you look at it, so more than half the children involved in the study thought adults are more likely to listen to the creative ideas of boys rather than girls. Now, do a follow-up to that study that describes what the ideas were. That's something no one ever considers. Like, well, no one ever listens to me. They listen to the other guy. Like, yeah, that's because your ideas are fucking stupid and the other guys aren't. Have you considered that might be a possibility? Maybe just because your mom praises everything you do, that doesn't mean you're a genius. So Miss Wallace said the implicit bias can hamper girls' confidence and restrict their opportunities in male-dominated fields. All right, so tell the girls to man up and have some good ideas for once. Now, the researchers also suggest that girls might be particularly prone to pressures of perfectionism as they get older. This, they claim, leads to girls feeling like they can't make creative decisions due to risk of failing or getting something wrong. That's on them. Get them some anxiety medication. They're probably already on like 3 of them anyway. British girls may feel the pressure particularly acutely, 71% agreeing that they had to be more perfect than boys, 6% above the global average. That's a societal problem. At the age of 5, 76% of girls surveyed said they felt confident about their creativity, but by age of 12, this had declined by 7%. That little? Look, so when you're 5 years old, you just get cheered on and praised for everything. Oh my God, look, he's sitting up on his own. Oh, he's learning to walk. Oh, so precious. Oh, look, he's going to be the next Picasso. Look at him drawing that art. Oh my God, that penguin looks so good, sweetie. It's a star. Oh, okay, that star looks so good, sweetie. By the time they get older, people actually hold them to some standards. And if that doesn't happen, like that's where you run into those situations where people get in way over their head. Like they were always told by their parents and their friends and their teachers how special and they are and what geniuses they are. And then they get out into the real world when they're competing against actual geniuses and they just get blown out of the water. And they have no idea of how to handle that failure because no one ever put them through it. I hate lying as a means of teaching. No, no, no. So it depends on the age. So, well, again, when we're talking about like toddlers, you gotta like you praise them and you make them feel good about themselves to encourage them to continue doing a certain behavior. Like the last thing you want to do is be mean to them and get them associating that behavior with getting chewed out and they stop doing it completely. So when they're little kids, it's all right to encourage them to continue doing things. But after a certain age, it's not enough that they just do them. They have to be done well. Dr. Anika Petrella, researcher and psychotherapist, says a perfection mindset encourages us to stay in our lanes, to fear failure, and to give up at the first sign of struggle. So maybe teach girls not to do that. And teaching girls that experimentation triumphs over perfection is crucial to empower their authentic creative selves. No, that might be true in like when you're talking about someone doing art as a hobby, maybe. If you want to do it as a profession, nah. It's you got to be you're competing with people. You got to be better. When you're talking about something like where lives are on the line, like building bridges, for example, you shouldn't be doing experimentation. Yeah, there is no room for failure. Like maybe if you do some prototypes safely away from any people, yeah, that's where you can experiment and fail. This isn't the first time that researchers have suggested that gender language might have a long-term effect on children. Some research has suggested that children learn stereotypes about gender by the age of 7, which can have an impact on what kinds of jobs they think would be suitable for them. They just naturally gravitate to them most of the time. I remember plenty of girls that were interested in boy stuff at super young ages, and vice versa in certain cases too. They just like once they hit puberty, though, they seem to naturally gravitate to certain things. No one forced them into it. So one study found that girls who were given Barbies to play with believed they had fewer career options compared with boys. Well, yeah, that's not true nowadays just because women get so much preferential treatment in every single field out there that, yeah, they actually got way more options and they don't even need to be good. They don't even need merit. Scientists have even claimed that children's books with female associated worlds might be perpetuating gender stereotypes. So what's the alternative? Turn them all into bitchy, like wannabe men with penis envy? Because that's what they're turning into. So once they realize that they can never actually compete with men, it destroys them. So the study suggests that books with female main characters are more likely to be about affection than professions. All right. This is part of the scam, actually. Remember that saying that women are human beings, men are human doings? They're trying to turn women into human doings as well. You will now be nothing more than your job, and you will work yourself into an early grave as a wage slave, just like a man. How are you enjoying that male privilege? Female associated words focus on affection, school-related words, and communication verbs like explained and listened. Meanwhile, male associated words focus more on professions, transportation, and tools with less of focus on emotional needs. Yes, from a young age, both men and women are being pushed towards the roles that suit them best. They may not choose to stay in those roles, but it makes sense to start them there. But what do I know? I'm just someone who's been observing these mistakes over the past couple of decades, and they're just getting worse. Every time we listen to this woke BS and we give ground, another generation of kids ends up worse than the one before them. I'm sure it's just a coincidence, though. No way it could be that these guys are wrong.